If you think I have an addiction to Vampire Survivors type games, well, you might be right. Let's go ahead and fire up Demon-Book Spellslayers, yet another game that has some similarities to that other game that I just mentioned. I think we'll start with this one just for the giggles, because I literally just unlocked this character, I think. And we're going to go to the third map, and we'll talk about how this game is the same, different, etc. from Vampire Survivors as we go. And I'm just going to let that happen in the course of a general playthrough, because, hey, I'm lazy and that's my style. So right off the bat, you can see you got to level, you got to learn a thing, so we'll just go ahead and, yeah, we'll just upgrade our primary weapon here. Primary weapon is this thing that it spawns a thing and then it shoots things. I don't know, it's not really my favorite, but whatever, we're going to run through it anyway. As you can see right away, one of the big differences that you cannot miss right off the bat is this game has shrines. And that really does translate into a very different play style. One of the other things that's very interesting is when you kill one of these guys like that, one of the blue elite guys, you get the whatever sort of buff they have going, you get that. In the case of Wealthy, that's going to be an Astral Flower. Astral Flowers up in the top right-hand corner, there's a 2 next to a little flowery thing. Those are the points that you use to upgrade your character overall. That's one of the other interesting changes about this game too, is that your character, let's go with Tailwind, I always enjoy a good Tailwind, is that you're basically playing the same character, but you're playing a different spellbook. Now this guy right here with the health bar is not an elite insofar as it's not one of the blue ones, so it doesn't give you a buff or anything when it dies, it's just annoying. And you gotta kill it because it'll kill you if you don't. And yes, they do have ranged attacks, whereas most everything else is just going to walk at you because, you know, that's just what they do. So obviously shrines are a very large change from what you have going on in Vampire Survivors, and even the other Vampire Survivors-like games I've played thus far. So I really like that change. It really, I don't know if it's a massive change, but it's a fun one. It definitely gives you a little bit of a different way to play, because sometimes you can see, like in this case, you got a lifesteal shrine coming up. It's not going to matter right now. But if we were in a position where, you know, we really need some health, boom, right there. As you kill each different guy, temporarily gaining extra HP on kill, it says at the top of the screen. There you go. You would have that little buff going on, so you'd be able to regenerate a little more health than maybe you would otherwise. This guy's deadly, so when we kill this one, we're going to get some sort of buff for that. Temporarily gained extra critical chance and critical damage. Now these buffs don't last very long. You'll see them in the bottom left-hand corner under the health bar. And in the case of, well, right now we're basically getting them one at a time, so I think the most recent one just kind of lasts indefinitely until you get another new one, in which case it's going to replace that one, and then you kind of keep going. Now here's another thing that is slightly different. Compared to Vampire Survivors, you just straight up evolve everything. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't need to have combinations of things. You just evolve stuff. So the Sentinel, which is the thing that appears and shoots at all the enemies, we can now evolve it. We get 50% of cast speed, also applies to the duplication speed. So we are currently buffing cast speed by way of the Tailwind aura, and that's going to help make more of these things appear, which the more of these things there are, the more bullets flying around the screen, the more enemies you're killing, the more pickups you can get, the better you are, your chances are of surviving because everything's dying, etc., etc. I think the rest of that kind of goes without saying. So, one of the other big changes to this game, as far as I can tell, is that you can have as many weapons as you want. It doesn't matter. Now, I haven't really tried exploring that of seeing, is there a limit of you can only get so many weapons? In part because I don't really want to. It doesn't really fit my play style. I like upgrading a couple of weapons and then, you know, focusing on them, and once they're in a point where I can kind of let them stand for a minute, move on to another one. Unless there's something coming along that I really want because I happen to like that particular weapon. When I say weapon, what I really mean is spell, because they're called spells in this game because, as the title says, it's Demon-Book Spellslayers. And now I have a cat in front of me, so I can't see my screen very well. I'm just going to keep going with this. This is a rare chest. and it's going to have different skills than what you would normally get elsewhere. Oh goodness, we have a couple of rerolls available. I might take one of them, because I'm not sure I care about the piercing amount. That's going to go up anyway, although 30% damage is pretty good. If we pause here and go into the screen, I can't literally read half of this because my cat is in the way. And I don't even know if I can... Can I reach far enough to turn on things? There you go. You can see one cat here, one cat here. I can't really see things very well. But you can see we have all of our weapons up in the top right-hand side, and you even get the damage as you're going through the game, which I love that. We can see that the Breach Sentinel, which is the evolved version of the Sentinel, has cracked out 30,000 damage. All the buffs and stuff are at the bottom, and then we don't have the auras on this page. You have to go to this one. You can see the different auras we have going on. The auras you can just call the equivalent of the buffs you would get in Vampire Survivor. You know, regeneration or armor or speed, that sort of thing. It's all the same type of thing. We'll go with Dynamo. I want to start working on Dynamo a little bit. This is a good one. Dynamo is the weapon that's shooting the yellow things to the right and to the left. It does a good bunch of damage, and it will more or less keep us alive, at least on the sides, once we get it upgraded. But that's still going to take a sneeze. In terms of other changes, lots of different bosses at the same time is definitely a thing. It doesn't always happen. I say bosses, what I really mean are just these elite guys, but you can call it a boss or whatever you want to call it, but you can definitely have several of them on the screen at any given time. And as you get later into the game, that absolutely happens, 100%. For the most part, the rest of it is kind of as you would expect, since we've already covered that everything can be evolved. And when I say everything, I mean those auras as well. So that's a little different from Vampire Survivors, where, you know, you can evolve some sort of weapon in combination with a buff. But in this game, you evolve everything. Your spells evolve and your auras evolve all on their own. And we're getting really close to Tailwind evolving. When we get to the last one, I'm going to show you what that does, because that's going to be the start of the build we're going after today, which I'll talk a little more about as we get closer to that being a reality. I guess the other big thing I'd mention is, yes, we do have a dodge ability, and dodge is based on those little yellow arrows. You see it in the bottom left-hand corner. If I use one, you'll see it goes dark. Now it's slowly refilling. That's just your mana. I don't know if there are additional abilities, skills, spells, whatever, that you can use based on mana, because I haven't played enough of this game to get to that point to unlock everything. I still have a lot to go. So I'm a little curious if there will be other abilities other than just being able to, you know, bounce around a little bit. But even if not, I mean, it is very handy to have a jump, a dash, or whatever you want to call it. So in terms of similarities, Scarlet Tower has that going on as well. But I think in this game, it's maybe a little better because there's an inherent dodge built in with it. It's kind of like having iframes in a Souls game. So Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, etc. When you dodge, if you are getting hit during a certain portion of the dodge animation, you'll have invincibility. Those are called iframes. And it seems like, right there you go, boom. I just dodged into those guys to kind of make the point. It sure seems like that we have some iframes in this game. So this is going to be the evolution. I guess it really isn't an evolution. I was incorrect when I said that. But it is an evolution in the sense that this is the final level of this aura, and it is massively changing how the aura works. So this one has been cast speed and I don't remember what else, movement speed. So now we're going to add repeatedly damages and knocks back nearby demons, more effective against faster demons. So it might not literally be called an evolution, but that's an evolution in my book, because it's now doing something it didn't start with. So this little kind of fiery circle we have around us is that specific aura. That's its kind of knockback aura is what's going on. Cat, are you okay? Do I need to move a little bit for you? There you go. This is Umbral Ibrahim's Emporium, where there are illegal upgrades available. And you can see there are 2 of these that say limited to 1. Now those are things that you can just get one of them, and it is a unique thing that will do whatever things it says. Bloodstream, all damage increases based on missing HP up to 1.5x at 1 HP. It's basically the more you get hit, the more damage you do. Double down. Whenever you lose invincibility, you are reinforced for 2 seconds. I don't really know what some of these things mean. I'm going to take that one because I think what that's going to do is whenever we get hit, let's see if I can get hit here. I'm literally trying to get hit, but nothing can seem to get close enough. There you go. Yeah, that didn't do what I thought it would do, so I don't really know what it does. I was expecting the health bar at the bottom to go gray or something. I don't know, whatever. I'm not that worried about it. Those ones don't really make or break a run as far as I'm concerned. Magma Axis is a really good one, so I'm going to go ahead and take that one because, again, that's going to be kind of part of our build. There's really only one more that I want to complete the build, but it is going to be tough to get all of them up to the point where we are high enough with all of those particular spells and have enough buffs going on to make all of this work, so I'm a little nervous about that actually being the case. For now, though, we'll just kind of keep pushing through here as we just kind of wrap up the discussion on what is and is not different about the game. It's going to be a minute before we get to it, about 13 if I'm going to be slightly more specific. But the end of the game is a little different too. When I say end of the game, I mean the end of the run. In Vampire Survivors, you hit the end of the time on your run, and generally speaking, death will appear and will, smash you around. Let's go and take Spirit Shield. And when that happens, either you die or you beat death, and that's kind of the way it goes. This game gives you 3 choices at the end of a run for you to choose from in terms of how you want to handle the end of your run. A couple of them, I believe, are endless options, although one of them is really not endless. It is endless with a goal, but I think it lists it as endless, which is kind of an interesting thing. And the other one is more of a timed thing, so I guess it'd be closer in line to Vampire Survivors in terms of how that handles giving you death, and then you gotta, fight off death, and either you win or you don't. Now, I've kind of taken to picking the last option, which will tell you the last option is to have ever-increasing difficult bosses. And at a point, you can get final bosses and defeat them and actually win, quote-unquote, the run. But otherwise, even if you do die during that point, you have reached the end of the run by the definition of surviving for the length of the run, in this case 20 minutes, based on this map. So it's still a win, it's just maybe not as big of a win as it might otherwise be. I didn't mention it, but just a quick note about these portals. In this case, this is a corruption portal, I think, because it has a little enemy skull on it, and it doesn't say, like haste, shrine or whatever. Did I say portal? I meant shrine. Whatever. Ooh, we want Juggernaut because that's also going to be part of our build. You can see that there's a number there occasionally. It just said 83 and then it went away. I'm looking at the skull on the shrine itself. It'll give you a count of how many monsters, demons, whatever you need to kill before you finish the shrine. All the shrines will do that. And then the kind of lit area is the area in which you have to be in while getting the kill. The demons don't have to be in that area, but you do. So this is the kind of the big bad shrine we had earlier, and I don't see the other one that we want that we got last time, but we're going to go ahead and take Bounty Hunter. Damage multiplier against elite demons plus 50% and damage plus 25%. Now, just as a point of clarification, you can see damage bonus is 75%. If you click back 10 seconds on the video, you'll see it was 50 before taking that. So it's a 25% bonus just flat and a 50% bonus against the elites. And we're going to need to push out a lot more damage as this run continues. That is one of the things, is you always need more damage. Now, whether we're going to get the auras we need or be able to get the different spells upgraded enough, I don't know. But here's your example of a couple of these guys being on screen at the same time. Yeah, one armor piercer, and we're about to get one of their auras. And then let's go ahead and take Blade Whorl. We don't really need the knockback as much right now. Actually, I might be wrong. Okay, so Breach, Sentinel's up to 9, Spirit Shield's up to 2. It's good stuff there. And you cannot deny what is in the chest, by the way. You don't get a choice. It's one of the interesting things. You just get what you get, and you better be grateful you got it. Which I actually don't mind, because in this game, there's no reason not to take something, because what is in the chest is only going to give you... You're only going to get it based on what you have as your actual spells and auras. It doesn't give you new things from chests. That's another change that I didn't think of, because I'm just kind of already used to how this one works. But hey, there you go. Look at me, I'm a professional. I can think of differences between video games. I think from this point forward, we'll just kind of continue on with the run. And if I think of anything else that comes up, because, there's always something, there's some spells will give you regeneration based on hitting enemies, or there are different characters that'll give you regeneration based on killing enemies and blah, blah, blah. There's all these little things. I was trying to really get into the more larger mechanical and gameplay differences, not so much the minor ones, but I don't know, maybe that's an important thing to you, in which case, you know, you might want to know that, so there you go. Mana Jammer here, we're going to get rid of this guy, Mana Jammer. Mana Jammer did not stand a chance. I get Spirit Shield up to 3. To kind of tell you what we're going for with this build is basically going to be one that is, in some respects, death by 1,000 paper cuts, but also not really. Let's go and take Brutality, because I want the additional projectile size. That helps. Projectile, if you prefer. It really isn't going to be death by 1,000 paper cuts, but in that sense, what I'm really referring to is we're going to take advantage of knockback. We do need to have a ton of damage, because just as these games go, the longer your run goes, the more damage you need to do to keep up with killing all the monsters on the screen. So it's not that we're going to be doing, you know, itty-bitty tiny bits of damage, but there's a certain element of that because we're using knockback to our favor. But ultimately what this build is going to do, I'm going to just keep putting this guy up, because I don't think I've gotten the Sentinel up to maximum level yet. Oh, all right, here we go. Another illegal upgrade. Chance to deal triple damage plus 25%. That's pretty good. I don't want knockback to pull enemies to us. That's kind of the exact opposite I want. We could take this one to replace Magma Axis. Ah, boy, I don't really want to replace the spell, though. Let's just go ahead and take Submission. That's going to take 25% of our health, and it's now in reserve. So if we end up losing all of our health, then I believe what happens is that it just basically kind of refills based on what's in the reserve tank. There we go, upgrade those guys. We got another thing here. This is, I think, a level up from experience. Let's do the Hunter Vortex. We need that one to be upgraded. That's going to be a critical one to get upgraded, I believe. But I've kind of taken to calling this build the modern elephant. And if you're offended, I don't know, I got nothing for you, but the reason I'm calling it that is because this build is relying on, if I can go back to my auras here and show you, Tailwind. When you upgrade Tailwind, Soundbreaker, that's what you get. Repeatedly damages and knocks back nearby demons. More effective against faster demons. So the faster something is progressing, the more effective you are at repealing it. The more you push back against something moving forward. This build centers entirely on being loud and abusive to anything and everything coming at you and pushing it away until you're able to whittle it down into just smithereens, because it cannot take the abuse anymore and it just doesn't have the energy for you. Yeah, there you go. I said it. No takebacks. Let's go and get rid of that guy and take his chest. The thing is, though, is, as in real life, this is actually highly effective. It's not the best way to go, but it's kind of amusing to me just because I feel like I'm bullying all these enemies when I play this way. Not that I'm enjoying that, but it's weird. I haven't really tried a playstyle like that, because this game allows you to do that because of all of its different auras. I mean, I've definitely done a build in Vampire Survivors where I'm using garlic and the Bible and all those sorts of things, and those are, I mean, it's similar in that regard. But because this game has all of the additional knockback bonuses, it kind of changes it a little bit. I don't know, it's fun. It's kind of fun. I mean, sometimes you want to do a different build and just totally nuke everything, and other times you just want to have a little killing field around you. And in this case, that's kind of what we're doing, is we're just, let's go and upgrade that guy. We're making a field around us that when everything walks into it, it basically just gets melted. And it just so happens that with all of the additional knockback, it really does help kind of keep you reasonably safe. Now, obviously, you can see these guys are pushing right through here, and part of that is we just don't have enough knockback yet. And it will get better as we continue on, but it's obviously going to take a little while to get to that point because we need some more levels, we need some more chests, all those sorts of things. We'll go ahead and take that guy. All right, Hunter Vortex is moving along very nicely. I'm pleased with what I'm seeing there. We're probably going to need some health regen too at some point. Let's take Brutality just to continue to increase projectile size. If you go back in the video earlier when we had the shield spell going on, and you look at it when it was just a single shield, compared to what it looks like now, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it's not the fastest thing in the world because obviously enemies can bust right through, but it's doing a lot of work in terms of its coverage, and it's about to get better. That's going to be the next thing we evolve if we get the option to do so, because that one turns into a really fun one. Like, that's one of the things I like about this game, is there's just some kind of wacky ideas with it, and honestly, I really enjoy that. I would like experience gain, because more experience means more levels, means more upgrades, means better chance of us surviving. So we'll go ahead and take that for now. I really would have liked that early on instead of when we hit level 28 in the run, because for the most part, getting to about level 50 seems to be where I end up on these runs. And sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it's a little more. It just, you know, kind of depends on how good the run is going, how well I'm playing, what sort of luck we get with upgrades and abilities and all that jazz. So there's definitely, here we go, Evolved Spirit Shield attaches guns to shields, firing bullets even when not hitting enemies. That sounds delightful to me. Let's go and upgrade Magma Access, and then Overload. That is our one that's shooting straight sideways. Just got a little bit of an upgrade too, so a little more damage for that. And you can see when we're shooting sideways, it's basically melting whatever's over there. Top and bottom, maybe not as much, but sideways, Overload is just wrecking these guys. It's fantastic. Let's go ahead and do another Magma Access because, ooh, I want Mending too. I need to be a little more focused here, a little more patient with some of these things. Over here, let's stand in the overlapping shrines so that our kills go to both of them, because that's a thing. Very smart. I love that, by the way, I really do. It's just a clever little mechanic. It's so good. Oh, man. And I like, too, that in the case of the Experience Shrine, that's how you get the equivalent of picking up the orb in Vampire Survivors that scoops all of the experience and stuff to you. Yeah, you do that with a shrine in this game. I like that. We haven't done any gambling yet either, so we might do that at some point. Let's go and take Clairvoyance. Let's get that one done. So that's going to give us a pretty good experience bonus, because coming into this, we're rocking like a 30% experience bonus, so now we're rolling with 55%, so I lied. We were probably coming in with like a 15 or 20%, I don't know, something like that. 10%? I don't know. Not a lot. But 55%, much better. So we can take, let's take Fire of Sinai. So that's the magma one that we had, the one that's shooting these red fireballs everywhere. And you notice part of the upgrade for that one includes knockback. That's the reason that one's in the build, and why I was saying we still need more knockback by way of auras and abilities. So now you can see that as guys are kind of getting in closer here, if they're running into those fire patches, they're definitely running into a lot more knockback than they were before. It's still not perfect, and there's still room for improvement, and that's in part where, you know, a lot of these things are going to come from, by way of having more damage, more things. Let's go ahead and upgrade the Hunter Vortex. I really like that one. I mean, look at that. The Hunter Vortex, these mana jammers are coming in, and they have their own blades whirling them. And they're not their blades, they're our blades, because that's what they do. Look at that. Those guys are killing each other. That's hilarious. All right, additional Hunter Vortex and Timmy and Tommy got upgraded as well. That's the shield. And there's Overload, so our left-right attack right now is just redonkulous. It's great. Nothing is cutting through left and right. Like, literally, we can basically just run left and right and it'll be fine. Here we go, God Slap. Knockback is affected by projectile size. Well, what are we rocking? We're rocking gigantic projectiles. So as these projectiles, or projectiles if you prefer, come knocking into people, the God Slap just pushes them away. I mean, look at this. We can literally, here, I'm just going to, maybe I'll do that a couple times. I'll just dodge into a group of guys, and you can see that nothing is happening. No one is getting into this anymore because we have so much knockback going on now between upgraded auras and upgraded weaponry spells that basically nothing's getting through. This is not going to hold out for the rest of the game. Like, I literally can't just sit here for the next 3 minutes and be fine. I mean, just as a point of emphasis, we'll see that the giant and the rapid damage will get through. It's not going to be fast, but they will get through, and I'm not going to move. There you go. Wear him down by standing in front of him. This is a fun one. When you kill an elite demon, kill all non-elite demons. Okay. That works out in your favor. So Fire of Sino, we got a couple more upgrades to that. That is excellent. Let's go pick up our upgrades and pick up a bunch of stuff flying around too. So let's go ahead and upgrade our brain power. So that's going to add more damage. What are we up to now? 191% damage bonus. I feel like this run might end up being a winner. It's going to be a while still, so if you want to go ahead and just skip to the end at this point, I'm not going to blame you, because from this point forward, we're just filling out the build, all right? I'm just going to go ahead and give you that one. If we do any gambling, maybe I'll remember and tell you about it later. Just look, 12 flowers now. That's what's going to change, if that's going to change. I mean, as a point of fact, I might just shut up from this point forward and kind of do the rest of this one in high speed, because I'm not sure that there's a whole lot that needs to really be done here. I mean, we're cruising on. I mean, it's going to be mostly this of just running around with very, very little danger for the time being. So this is what I was talking about. When you get to the end of the stage, when your 20 minutes or your 13 or whatever runs out, you have some choices here. So battle until you reach the final wave of enemies and all elites have been defeated. Maybe that is the one that I was thinking of, because I think what I've been doing lately is the Demonic Rage. Periodically summon elite demons to earn greater rewards. Yeah. I think maybe we'll do this. We'll do the timed challenge, so that we just have to survive until we get to the last wave of elites. That way there's a specific tangible goal in mind. It's just survive increasing waves until you get to the final elites, and then we're good. I think I've been doing the other one. It's like looking at it now, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why, because I've just been trying to farm as many flowers as possible so that I can, you know, do some upgradey, McUpgradey stuff. Here, let's go and take brain power. It's fine, we'll take that now. I was looking, we got a level at some point, and damage bonus went down to 170 from 195. I think what maybe had happened is we had a buff active at the time from a shrine, and it wore out, and so we weren't ever really actually at 195. We were a little lower. So it's all good. It's working out okay now. You can see those buffs in the bottom left are slowly disappearing, or at least a couple of them did. There you go. There goes one more. So just the movement speed buff remains. At least I think that's what that one is. If not, it's cast speed. Cat, what are we doing? Have a seat. That one thing that is kind of interesting about getting to this point in the game is that there's just so much crap going on screen. I sometimes don't see the bullets as they're flying around. We'll take the Galaxy Brain upgrade. That'll be a good one. So I do really have to be careful about that. I think we have one revive available, but I do need to really watch for those enemy projectiles as they're coming in, and I'm not doing a great job of that. This healing shrine is going to be really good for us, though. So there you go, shrine completed. So we've got some enhanced regeneration going on for a while. That'll be nice. I should get our health back up in a good spot. Cast speed in this game can be interpreted as meaning time between spells. And, you know, if you go into the game here and you start, I mean, I don't know, if I don't have my mouse handy. I can't reach now because I have a cat on my lap, but you can say if I, you know, mouse over some of these things, I think you can see the better definitions of what things are, but it is what it is for right now. It's fine. I did want to mention, by the way, too, that there is... Yeah, I know. This is here. I'm aware of it. Thank you. The little arrow keeps popping up telling me it's here. I've never understood how to destroy projectiles. That's one of the things it says to do. Like, I literally don't know what that means. But you can change your aiming in this game to be manual if you prefer to do that. To make it movement base, you can make it automatic. I prefer to just leave it on automatic. That's just more my style. I trust that the game generally has pretty good targeting, and I'm okay with letting it do that. So this is the big upgrade chest again, so these are going to be the kind of unique things. I don't know. I don't really want any of these. Let's do a reroll and see what we get. We can get another upgrade of Skewer, so that's more piercing. Or we can summon a Smuggler's Shrine in a treasure chest right away for... Let's go ahead and do that for a free upgrade. So we'll do the Smuggler's Shrine, because that's going to give us some other sort of upgrade. And we can do some gambling, I guess. That'll be what we do, I think. I mean, unless we get a really good one. Of all these guys, I do think I kind of want to take Mending at this point, so that's going to give us a little better health regen. It's going to give us 2.2 per second. So here we go. This is the Smuggler's Shrine. We can do projectile speed is also applied to knockback, but projectiles cannot pierce. That's an interesting one because we don't have any additional projectile speed, so it doesn't really do any good. Check this one out. Revives +9, energy shield +9, maximum HP minus 999%. So basically puts you at 1 health with an energy shield. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take the gamble. So we're at 17 flowers, we're now at 21. We obtained some flowers out of that, so there's some upgrade points available. And I'm a happy camper because that means I can get some additional 2, 3, 4, 5% upgrades, which they add up over time. If you play some Vampire Survivors and you've done a bunch of upgrades, you know that first one may not be meaningful, but by the time you're at the 3rd or 4th one, or 5th one, whatever it may be, it is pretty important. So yeah, we'll just keep going here. I'm going to try to dodge these things. I'm not doing a very good job of it. There we go. Got a healing shrine that just popped up. That's going to be great. Experience shrine is going to suck in all the experience lying around on the map. Come on, healing shrine. There we go. Weren't killing things fast enough, so we're good. We're good. You can see that the HP is changing. I can see it. It was going 120 to 121, 120 to 121. It was doing it super fast, I think because the reserve health was refilling. We can just go ahead and take this one. It's fine. I don't know that we really need the health at this point. I feel reasonably confident we'll be able to dodge the rest of this crap. If not, well, I guess that was a good thing. Reserved HP, not a bad thing at all. I think that has prevented at least 1 death in this run so far. We are getting pretty close to the end of this run. I think it's around the 10-minute mark. I don't think it's at the 20-minute mark. So I'm just going to kind of keep going until we get closer to the end. I think we're getting very close to the end here because I remember these guys as being among the last. And I say these guys, I mean these 4 horsemen of the apocalypse or whatever they are. 2 horsemen, I don't know. So let's get rid of that one, and there's one more over here. I don't think this is the last one. I'm not 100% sure that's the case. I think there might be one more set of bosses after this. But I know we are getting very close because we just hit the 20-minute mark. So we're basically at end game on this. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. There you go. They are the last ones. I was wrong. How about that? Perfect. So that right there is a complete A to Z run of the game. We'll go into the upgrades just so you can see there are a lot of options in here. And I haven't even gone over to this page or this page yet. I mean, I'm just working on this page because I was kind of thinking, let me get kind of the basics in, like some damage, some pickup range. If I go down, you can see movement speed, regeneration, critical stuff, rerolls. You can banish things so that they don't come up as choices. The Smuggler's Favor, so you can reroll the Smuggler's Shrine every time for free. I mean, recharge speed, light radius. I'm still not entirely sure what the light radius thing does. I guess that would require maybe reading what that does. I don't know. I just grabbed my mouse to see if it would give me any additional information. It doesn't look like it. But yeah, there's like a whole host of things in here. You can have some mutations to all of the different things. I guess it's for all of these. I mean, they're not cheap, but there are some fun things in there. And then I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I guess this just, further upgrades those things. So it's just, there's a lot. I mean, there is genuinely a lot to do in this game. And if I were to try to just give you a quick summary of, what do I think overall of the game? Is this worth your time? And then, maybe where do I rank it? I don't know if I can tell you where I rank it. This one is up at the top, though. I can tell you that much. I'm throwing Brotato in the list of survivor-type games, even though maybe it's a little different. It's more of a wave-based shooter-type thing than this one is. It's close enough for me that I don't care, and I'm going to do it. This one is right at the top for me. Like, it is near the top. I don't know that it's my favorite, but it is really, really well done. This is a really good game. So If you have some money to spend, you could do worse than to buy yourself a copy of Spellbook Demonslayers. This game is not a shameless clone. This does its own thing, and it does it with style. By the way, we haven't even talked about the music and how just rockin' it is. I mean, come on. What's not to like? So there you go. Go play this game. It's worth your time if you like those survivor games. And just so you know, I'm not done going through them. I have at least one more that I haven't even played yet, so I know what I'm going to be doing for this next week. Yeah, I gotta put some time in on that one. Catch you on that one. Till then, thanks for watching. See you later.